Hey everybody, Easy Mode here, and I'm coming at you with a build that I'm currently playing in the new update for last Epoch 1.2, Tomb of the Erased, and that is a Smite Warpath Paladin. Just kind of gonna jump right into the build itself, as you kind of saw a showcase of it earlier in the video. But I'm level 98, I'm gonna be working my way to level 100, and I called myself Easy Ignite because I started this build as an Igniter. I wanted to replay my old Ignite build that I made way back in beta, where I was trying to stack as many ignites as I can on an enemy. But I picked up this sword, the Polaris Sacred Light, and I also picked up this belt. And I noticed that you can cast Smite on melee hit, and you can also have a chance to cast Smite on hit. And that gave me an idea to make a cast on crit sort of build. Well, not really cast on crit, but like cast on hit, I guess you could say, in various reminiscence of PoE's cast on crit builds, where you just hit the enemy, you crit them, and you launch a spell out. And that spell is Smite. So with these particular two items, I wanted to make this build, and I went in, and it's been a super fun ride, and I was able to do the pinnacle with this character. So without further ado, let's just kind of go into the item choices themselves. I remember this game used to be very defensive first and offensive later. So I made sure to focus on my defenses. You'll notice I'm almost capped at armor at 70%. Yeah, I think it's 70%, the highest you can go. So like I'm almost capped at armor, and I do have a capped reduced critical damage on from crits through my pieces of gear, but I wanted to focus my gear around atonement, health, HP, hybrid, and health. And then the fourth one could be little things here like shred armor, movement speed, crit chance here, so on and so forth. I also am using Orion's Sun Seal because part of my build uses Symbol of Hope as a burst damage when you get down below your threshold. And that is super helpful because you'll be constantly taking damage from Smite. It's part of the actual skills themselves. The other kind of items I have here, just again, focusing on Atonement and Spell Crit on it. This symbol, or this relic, I got super lucky with +4 Holy Aura. Honestly, I was looking for things like Mana Regen, Crit Strike, Spell Crit Strike, Crit Multi, one of my moves, which was Holy Aura, which was great, health, so on and so forth. And I was able to hit one of these guys going through all the tombs. But I still have plenty of upgrades on this character. Like, I gotta upgrade this scepter to make it better and get T7. I gotta probably upgrade this neck to make it better. Upgrade this HP, this helmet, upgrade this chest piece, upgrade these gloves. So there's still a lot to do on this character. I'm not going to go into too much details with like the passive tree or the skills. I'll post a link for my last Epoch Tools build so you can take a look at it. But this is pretty much the passive tree itself. I opted in to get Blade Master in this build because the more I attack with my Warpath, the more my smites will proc. And I also opted to get Covenant on Domain because I want to get mana regen. One of the big things I noticed in this build that I was trying to work around and not include mana regen on some of my pieces of my gear is only including it on my belt or Orion's Descent and getting that node for Holy Aura mana regen. If I spin, it takes only one channel away, and if I cast my Holy Aura while doing that, it will slowly regen up. And that is good enough for a fight. I noticed that whenever I go into long fights, like a long arena or whatnot, and I didn't have the node here to channeling cost was -4 for my Warpath, I started not gaining mana. So I slowly was whittling away my mana with Holy Aura and using my other moves like casting my Symbol of Hope as well as casting my Smite. So I needed to find a way to make sure that I was gaining mana while staying whirlwinding, and that involves me having to take some points off of Path of Heaven and Quicksilver Wind and putting it into Unchained. I think this feels much better to play with. But yeah, that's this is my Warpath tree. Not gonna go too much into it. If you want to look into it more, you can. One of the main things to look here is Cyclone of War. This is why I'm wearing a scepter. Fire Pen is 75% with the scepter. It's really strong when you have a scepter in your main hand. Holy Aura, you don't need this side of the tree or this additional point in Firestorm. You can work off 21 points here, and you can just get everything else here on the right hand side of the tree. Judgment is where all my damage is coming from. I'm sacrificing life, and the reason why I'm sacrificing life is to proc my Symbol of Hope using Orion's Seal, the ring. But I also made sure to sacrifice enough that it didn't feel like I was squishy, but I also felt like I can proc it decently with Atonement. I had like 4 points into here. I dropped it down to 3 points. Now I dropped it down to 2 points, and I feel okay with it being at 2 points because it's constantly going off. And I put those points into conflagration for more hit damage against ignite enemies because you'll be igniting all the time, so on and so forth. Healing Hands is my movement ability. I use it just to reposition myself and move around the map. Nothing special about it. Honestly, the more important nodes are Cleric Hammer, Rayhan's Chariot, and as well as Prayer of the Fallen, because you can get increased healing effectiveness from it, which allows you to get more damage on your other moves. Everything else is kind of, you know, here we go. Spell damage per, you know, damage per level specialized buffed. And with Cleric's Hammer, you can activate this on the first hit of your Whirlwind or your Warpath. That considers a melee hit. It won't consider the other ones when you Whirlwind on them. But every time you're repositioning yourself and you go back into here, you'll at least have the buff to heal yourself over time. And when you hit them with your first Whirlwind, it keeps it up a little bit longer. Last but not least, the Symbol of Hope tree here. I don't know if this is... I focused on Divine Flare. I felt like this was really good to have because you can pretty much constantly burst with this using the sacrifice of your Smite here. And I just made sure to get maximum sigil, so I have 5 of them. And every time I have 5, I get, what, 500% more damage on my burst, and I was able to get some symbols on kill. But these symbols are up almost 24/7. Like crazy. So like I'm always gonna have, you see it's like like half a second, and they're constantly being recharged. So those are my skills. And as I mentioned earlier, this is my my tree for my passive tree. I opted in for Blade Master to get more attack speed, and yep, this is the Paladin tree. I'm probably going to finish out by putting in Reverend of Duality from 99 and putting 1 more point into Conviction for level 100. But overall, I was able to do the Pinnacle boss. I'm gonna be working on getting better gear for this character, so maybe I can attempt to do the Uber Pinnacle boss. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. It seems I've seen some videos online and people just like face tanking things, and I don't think I can face tank character, honestly. So we'll see. But I've been having a lot of fun, and hopefully I can play a little bit more Lassie Buck. It's kind of caught my attention with the end game. I haven't been bored yet, which is, I guess, a W in their books. And we'll see if on the next character I make another video about it. I hope you have a good day, and take care, everybody. Bye.